Hello and welcome back to Cabin Organic. Today we want to share with you our deck restoration project. Here's a before shot. This is what the cabin looked like when I bought it 6 years ago. And as you can see, the stain is fading and the deck is really in need of some TLC. We started with the herb and tea garden area. Brian saw this empty spot at the top of the garden and asked me what my plans were for that spot, and I said that I'd really like a box to plant my peppermint in. So he immediately got to work. And as you can see, he didn't stop there. He also put in some trellis behind the planter box. I came behind him with the can of stain and stained everything. And here's an after shot of the trellis and the planter box after they've been stained. And a few close-up shots of the peppermint box after it's been planted. Next, we tackled the stairs, and you can see the stairs cover almost the entire front of the deck and wraps around. So the first thing I did was scrub everything really well. Then I added a clear coat of stain to the bottom of the steps and the dark stain to the back, the kickboard of the stairs. Here you can see where the stairs end into a kind of a rock garden area. So Brian took out the back wood and replaced that with trellis. And I came behind and stained everything. And then Brian and I rearranged the rocks so that it looked a little more pleasing, a little bit more designed. And then I had a lot of fun planting this little rock garden. And I'm going to do a separate video on that project. Then we moved up the stairs and to the left of the deck. Here you can see the long walkway that leads to a small deck area there. And we have this delightful little bench that wraps around a chokecherry tree, but as you can see from the picture here, it's quite overgrown. And some more before shots of this back area. Brian had to take out some beams and then add a bunch of slats where they were missing. Brian took out this beam, and then below he built 3 stairs leading down to a much longer staircase behind the house. And while Brian was busy building, I was right behind him with my can of stain and also busy scrubbing that deck floor. Here's some after shots of what the deck is starting to look like. And another shot looking in the other direction. You can see how tidy everything looks now that we've pruned the chokecherry tree, and we now have a little sitting area in the corner there. After I scrubbed the side of the cabin, I also stained the window frame. And that little deck area is really quite private, as you can see. It's tucked in behind some trees, and it's always in the shade, so it's quite nice to sit there on the hot, hot days of summer. Moving to the front of the cabin now, here's a before shot of the window, and then an after shot after being stained. And if you keep walking to the right-hand side of the deck, you'll see there's another window which we stained the frame. And as you can see, this right-hand side of the deck is a little bit larger. It walks out from the dining room, and we have a little sitting area out there, and it's quite nice to just come out, read a book, drink some wine, and enjoy the day. And just under that deck area there is some open space, and so Brian closed up part of it with trellis, and he left a bit of it open there for some storage under the deck. And continuing around the cabin, you can see there's another smaller window which we also stained the frame. And a couple shots of the front door. Here we just stained the frame and scrubbed the deck, but it looks so much better. And finally, here is a few after shots of the finished project. We spent the entire summer working on this deck, Brian and I, and we're really proud of how it turned out. We think the cabin looks fresh and well loved and cared for. And because we spend a lot of time outdoors, we've extended our living space to a few more rooms where we eat and work and read and just spend time in nature. Thank you so much for joining us here at Cabin Organic. We hope you'll subscribe and continue to watch more of our videos here at Cabin Organic.